So the January transfer window has finally closed, and Newcastle United have confirmed just the one signing this month. That was Alfie Harrison's move from Manchester City. Now that had been boiling for a couple of weeks, but that was confirmed at 3 o'clock today on deadline day. So yeah, Newcastle end the window with just the one addition, not even a first team addition. They really came into this window needing to strengthen. The injury issues had lots of holes in their squad, and they thought that they would look to prioritise signings. Obviously, it emerged as the window grew on that FFP, PSR regulations meant that simply that was not going to be the case. They had to be very tight with money this month, and if the only way to get anyone in would be to see to see someone leave. We saw Trippier, Wilson, Almiron all linked with a move sort of in the last couple of weeks, but they never materialised. And other than Kieran Trippier, where Newcastle really had to stand firm against some Bayern Munich interests, none of the other bids really look like challenging Newcastle's resolve too much. So yeah, Newcastle end the window. Are they certainly not worse off than they were when they entered the window? They've only lost Javier Manquillo as a first team option. He hadn't played all season. He's behind Livramento and Kraft and Trippier, of course, in the pecking order. So that's not really a loss, and they don't enter the window weaker than they began it. They don't end it any stronger. That's a guarantee. And it'll be interesting to see if their squad can manage the game load between now and the end of the campaign. We've seen them struggle with that, with injuries all year. So that'll be a real test of that squad if they can manage with just the core of players Eddie Howe's got now. If they can manage through the rest of the season, hopefully the injury crisis is beginning to subside. Although I've said that in many videos here, and we're still talking about lots of injuries at the club. But yeah, whether it wasn't really mixed. It's a hard one to assess because it's not really a missed opportunity because Newcastle simply couldn't do anything. The finances meant they had no option. They couldn't do anything this window. It's a shame that they're not being able to do anything, and then maybe these financial rules will get changed over the next sort of few weeks and months. Going into summer, they'll have more money to play with. They might, it's easier to trade players in summer, which you will have to do. So it'll be interesting if they repeat this window in future windows this time next year, what happens. But right now, I think Newcastle would be disappointed they haven't brought anyone. It's always disappointing when your team doesn't bring anyone in, and fans will have been wanting to see new faces. But I think from a club's point of view, it makes sense not to risk falling foul of those PSR rules, as we've seen Everton and Nottingham Forest do, because we know the Premier League are, clamping down on that, and there was no need to risk those rules this month when they've got a summer that they can, rebuild, or they can at least sort of reshape the squad. In terms of outgoings on deadline day, we saw Josh Scott leave the academy, the under-21s. He went to go join Queen's Park. We saw Jay Turner-Cook recalled from his loan at St Johnstone. He's expected to remain at Newcastle between now and the end of the campaign. Whether we've seen with Joe White, who came back earlier this month or in this window, he was on the bench against Villa. Jay Turner-Cook, a similar position. He might be given an opportunity to impress Eddie Howe and, hitting around the fringes of the first team squad, especially with Joe Willock and Elliot Anderson still out. But the only major outgoing on deadline day was Isaac Hayden. He went to Queen's Park Rangers of the Championship. Now, there's plenty of interest in him over the window, especially when his loan from Standard Liège got cut short. But it'll be Loftus Road where he plays his football. He'll be playing with Jack Colback at Loftus Road. And speaking of after, his signing, he very much, Isaac Hayden was very much determined to, up for the challenge at Loftus Road. They currently sit 22nd in the Championship, and QPR, they're staring down the barrel of relegation. But we all know, Newcastle fans all know Isaac Hayden, he will bring that determination. He will bring, a tough tackling mentality in that midfield. So he should be interesting to see how he works out there. It's clear that his Newcastle United career is over. It's just trying to get maybe a permanent departure in summer, but it's again trying to find clubs that'll pay his wages. But right now he's off to QPR, so that'll be a good move for him in the club, and be interesting to see how that works out for Isaac Hayden. But yeah, other than that, it was a pretty quiet deadline day at Newcastle and across the Premier League. Really, we haven't seen too many deals. Other than the only real talking point in deadline day has been Armando Broja and where he's going to end up playing his football. He's going to go at Fulham from Chelsea on loan. So that was the only real talking point across the whole league. A couple of odds and sods deals getting done, but yeah, quiet window in the Premier League and a quiet window in Newcastle United. But they have to remain focused now. They've got a big challenge with the second half of the season to get back in Europe. They're still in the FA Cup, and of course that all starts with the game against Luton Town on Saturday, which is a massive game. They you know, they will take lots of hope and momentum from their win over Villa on Tuesday, but Luton Town beat them just before Christmas, so it certainly won't be an easy game. And Eddie Howe will be speaking to the press on Friday morning, and he will have obviously we'll have all the latest fallout from the transfer window. He'll bring you everything previewing Luton, all the reaction from the transfer window, and my colleague Donsker will bring you that tomorrow morning, Friday morning, as you listen to this or watching this. So yeah, the best way to stay up to date with all the latest Newcastle United news after a quiet deadline day and for the rest of the season is of course with this year's Gazette.